Alright, so yesterday we finished up statistical questions, and today we're moving into mean, median, mode, and range. Now, a lot of you guys have been like, I don't know what this is, I've never heard of this. Hopefully when we actually get into it, it will kind of ring a bell of what you guys have learned in previous years. And you might not have gotten to it because of the pandemic and remote learning and everything. So there's no telling as to why you guys do or don't remember this. So like I said, hopefully when we get into it, you do. Raise your hand if you're missing somebody from your group today. Go ahead and cut. Oh, don't cut. Don't touch this. I'm gonna have to cut. I'll touch it. I don't know how straight you are. Listen. Alright, so open up your flap. And you're essentially going to be cutting on these little dotted lines. Please do not cut all the way through. If you have not folded it in half, like I have, please do that before you cut. Alright, then once you are done, here, Mom. There you go. You got some scissors? Yes, sir. Put them right back to you. Alright, once you have it cut, I need you to look at the back of the page, because this is where we're getting all of our, thank you, all of our information from to essentially fill out mean, median, mode, and range. So on here it says find the mean, median, mode, and range of the following numbers. So these are your math test grades. So kudos to this person who has really good grades. Alright, flip it back over and let's look at the mean. So when you are thinking about mean, you want to think about the average. So, and the average is essentially all your numbers together equaling out to one number that's kind of in the general middle of your data set. The first thing you're going to do is add all the values. So once you've added all those values, you're going to divide by the number of values. So adding those numbers and then dividing. Now, the good thing about statistics is you get to use a calculator. Obviously, we are not using it at the moment, but you will get to use the calculator whether you're doing homework, classwork on your own, or with a partner. Now, when we're doing it together, I'll just have my calculator up here, not to worry. But what I want you to do with everything that has to do with statistics is the very first thing, even though it doesn't tell you, list numbers least to greatest. This will help you out in so many ways. And this is the first step that you do for everything. Okay, so you are going to list your numbers from least to greatest. Remember, what are you playing with, son? Put it away now, like please. We are writing and you are playing. I can't watch you do this anymore. All right, so someone flip your paper over and read me the numbers in order from least to greatest. All right, Gabby.
83, 86, 91, 92, 94, 99, 99.
Hold on, slow down. 94.
99. 99 again.
You said 99 and then 100? Okay, so listing them in order least to greatest, and then essentially you're going to add all of those numbers up. When you add all of those numbers, you get 644. Okay, so we've added them up and we've gotten our total value. How many numbers are in our data set? So count and raise your hand. Callie? 8. So you are then going to take and do 644 divided by 8. And then when you do 644 divided by 8, you end up with 83. I lied. You end up with 80.5. I'll get it together. All right, again, do you see how a calculator would come very handy?
So we don't have to actually do it.
Well, you still have to do it, just show if you know how to do it, but there's a lot more room for error when you're dealing with statistics. There's a lot more adding, subtracting, dividing, all of that. But when you're finding the mean, you're finding the average, so therefore you're adding all of your values up and then dividing by however many values are in that data set. All right, median. So when you're thinking about median, I want you to think about the middle. So you essentially are finding the number in the middle. Median is one of the easiest things in the world to find once you actually know how to do it. So the first thing you're gonna do is put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Then step number 2, you're gonna mark off high and low values until you reach the middle. And then if there are two numbers, two middles, add them and divide by 2. All right, so the very first thing that you're doing is you're putting your numbers in order from least to greatest. Well, if you did that for the first one, then you already have it written here. So we're gonna do 83, 86, 91, 92, 94, 99, 99, 100. Something's really bothering me about, hold on. So this should be 744. Sorry, y'all. I knew this looked wrong, and this should be 93. That number is more in the middle than 80, so I apologize. All right. It's Wednesday, you know, like halfway through the week, brain's only half working. So step number 1, put our numbers in order least to greatest. All right, step number 2 tells us to do what?
Pardon the interruption, Garrett Henry and Deshaun Stevenson, please report to Ms. Franklin Jackson's room.
What do we do?
Mark off behind the lines and finish the middle.
Okay, so I'm gonna start 83, then I go to 100. 86, 99, 91, 99, and I'm left with 92 and 94. So I'm circling both of those. Yes? What? You have your hand raised. You what?
I was gonna say wow, what we have to do.
Why do you have to do it? I just didn't hear what you said.
I was going to say what we have to do.
Oh, okay. 1 second. I'll call you in 1 second. All right, so you're left with 92 and 94. Now, hopefully the majority of us can look at 92 and 94 and know what number falls between them. What number falls between 92 and 94? Okay, my non-mathematical people, this is why we're going to show you this step. If you cannot see what number comes between 92 and 94. Callie, what would we do here?
We add up the 200 and divide by 2.
So I'd add up 94 plus 92, which gives us 186. And then step number 3 says if you have those two middles, add them and then divide by 2. So I'm going to divide 186 divided by 2, and I get 93. Okay, some of us, if our numbers are nice, like this one, you don't have to do that step because most of us should be able to say, okay, well, 93 comes after 92, but before 94. Yes?
Also, I noticed that the average is actually the exact same as the jack.
It doesn't always happen that way. It does in this one, but it should because your average is your middle number. Your median is the middle number. So if your mean and your median are not close, then you know you're off. And that's how I knew that my math was wrong for the first one, because originally it was 80.5. That's lower than the person's lowest score. So that's why I was like, okay, something's wrong with my math. Let me go back and check. And that's something that you have to, look at yourself as well. I mean, I made a mistake in my answer key, and I was like, and I used a calculator for my answer key. So, but again, looking at it and knowing, okay, something is wrong with this number because it's not falling in the middle. It's way outside of all of my numbers. You have to think like that when you're dealing with statistics. All right. Mean, we're finding the average, which is essentially the number around the middle. Median, we're finding the middle, which is the number in the middle. So technically, with this set of data, 92 and 94 are not your medians. You use them, but they're not your medians. Your median is what? Real? 93. Okay? And that will come in a little bit later when we start IQR. All right, so questions about your mean or your median? Do you guys remember doing this at all? A little bit, okay. And like I said, it might have been pandemic time. I mean, there's lots of things that could have affected why we didn't learn this, so it's not a big deal. All right, mode. Mode is the easiest one. So when you think mode, I want you to think most. So again, put your numbers in order from least to greatest, and then find the number that appears the most. And there may be one mode, there may be no mode. How would you end up with no mode? Joe?
Well, would that be two of the same number?
So no mode, if you don't have a mode at all in your data set, what would happen then? If you don't have a mode? Because a mode is saying it's the number that appears the most, right? So if you have no mode, what does your data set look like? Sophia?
Maybe there's all different numbers and then they are the same.
Right, so there's all different numbers and none of them repeat. Okay, because your mode is a number that repeats. Could be 1, 2, 5, 12, 15 times. Mode is the number that appears the most. So again, using that same data set, we're going to put it in order: 83, 86, 91, 92, 94. If you do not stop, pack it up and leave. Go. You're gonna have to do this on your own, baby. You are so out of this class today. I can't. Just go. 83, 86, 91, 92, 94, 99, 99, 100. All right, so we're gonna look at this data set and we're gonna say, okay, what number appears the most, if any? Andrew? 99. So 99 appears twice, so therefore, what is my mode? Andrew? 99. That's how easy mode is. Mode is just looking for the number that appears the most. Ramon, go to Mr. Nolan, please. All right, questions about mode? Nope. We understand it? Pretty easy? All right, and your last one is range. So range, I want you to think largest to smallest. So once again, you're putting your numbers in order from least to greatest, and then you're going to subtract the largest number from the highest number. Okay, so we're gonna slide over here, we're gonna do 83, 86, 91, 92, 99, 99. I forgot 94. It's okay, it doesn't count right now. 94 and 100. Yes, Andrew, you are correct. I did skip one. So now we have to identify what two numbers. What two numbers do we have to identify in order to find the range? Right? Say it again. 83 and 100. So we're looking for the lowest number and we're looking for the highest number. And then what do we do with that, Soraya? So I'm going to do 100 minus 83. And I end up with 17. So my range equals 17. Okay? So questions about mean, median, mode. Are they as hard as Imagine Math has been making them? For those of you who are there. Okay. Again, mean and median, median isn't even really that hard as much as mean is probably the hardest just because you have to add them up and then divide them. We are not gluing this into our notebook yet because I want to make sure that you guys have it out and available to you. All right, you are going to have homework tonight. And I'm going to allow you to start that now in class before we do our cool down. I do want to go over a couple of these just together to make sure. Andrew, will you grab one case of the calculators and pass them out? Abby, will you grab another case and pass them out? And then Amani, I can't talk. Quit. Just take the lid off and then just walk around and have people take it. So this is your homework. This is first and last name, date, and period on it. Now, you guys should have numbers on your calculators on the back, hopefully. I think there's like one that doesn't. So when we return our calculators today, we're gonna try our best to at least put them in the container that has those numbers on it. Does that make sense? All right. So everyone please get a homework sheet. And we are going to look at the first one. And you can title the next blank page in your notebook. And you don't have to write the mean, median, mode, and range out again. You can just do M, and R. Because you'll notice there's not enough room on your paper to obviously do this work. And I don't want you to squeeze it all in. Alright, so looking at number one, and what I would do just to start with is, what's the thing you have to do for all of your, whatever you're finding, what do you have to do first? Alright, so looking at our numbers, least to greatest, what's the smallest number we have in number one? Callie?
6.
Alright, so we have 6. I'm gonna cross it off so that I don't what? Don't repeat it, and make sure that, okay, as I'm crossing my numbers off, oh, I missed a number back here. So then I'd have to go back and start over. So I have 6, then I have another 6. Alright, next one is 7. Then the next one is 17. 16, thank you. That's why I keep you around, Andrew. I don't care what they say about you. Alright, now is the 17. 17. Then we have 2, 3 18s. And then 20. Alright, so now, you can go in any order. So what do we want to do first? What do you think you want to do first? Bryson? Smoke? Okay, so let's find the one that appears the most. Which one appears the most, Bryson?
18.
So 18 appears 3 times. So then on our sheet, we know that 18 is our mode. So over here, I'm going to put mode. I'm going to put equals 18. And please make sure, if you want to use colors today while you're doing your work, you can. If you don't want to, that is fine. But make sure that I'm giving you an example. Make sure you do the example the way that I'm giving it to you when you guys are working on your own, okay? Just so you make sure you're getting everything. All right, what do we want to find next? Callie? Median, all right. So when we find median, what do we have to do here? When we're finding the median, what do we do? What do we do? Look at your notes. So go to median, pull out your notes, look, what do you have to do? Ben?
Put numbers in the order and order of high, low,
Okay, so starting, and I'm just gonna cross off. So then my number in the middle is what? 17. So my median, this one's nice because it's got an odd number, we don't have to do anything extra. So my median is 17. Alright, what do we want to find next? The mean? Alright, Andrew, how do we find the mean?
You take the largest number, you add up all the numbers and then divide by how many numbers you have.
Okay. Alright guys, so go ahead, let's add up all the numbers and then stand up when you have your answer. Alright guys, you have a calculator. It should not be that hard to punch some numbers in and get your total. Okay? Marion, what'd you come up with, babe?
I got 74.
Nope, check it again.
I got 1,100.
Nope. Guys, these, the 6, 6, 7, 16, 17, 18, 19, or 18, 18, 20. You can? No. Y'all, I don't want the mean. I want the total of the numbers. That's all I asked you to do. Add the numbers up and stand up. Isabella. No. No. Y'all. Maybe I'm special. I might have done this wrong, but let me check one more time. Cause we're adding numbers. Alright, you are correct, I'm sorry, it's 126. Where we got all the other numbers, we're not really sure, but, woo. Alright, so 126, then what do we do with 126?
You divide it by the, how many numbers there are.
And how many numbers do we have?
9?
Yes, so we're gonna take 126, we're gonna divide it by 9, stand up when you get your answer. Alright, Levy, what'd you get?
14.
Yes, sir. So your mean is 14. Now, it's not exactly the same as your median, but it's close to your median, right? So your median is 17, your mean was 14. All right, the last thing we have to do here is our range. And how do we find our range? Juan, how do we find the range, baby? Love that you're using your foldable. Okay, so which one is our largest number? Okay, and what is my smallest number? I'm gonna do 20 minus 6, which gives me 14. So my range is 14. Okay? So this is the work you have to do for each one of these questions. Alright, I'm going to allow you to work with a partner. You have essentially 9 other problems that you're doing for classwork / homework. You do have a cool down today, so I will be stopping you at probably 9:40 so that you have 10 minutes to do your cool down. Yeah, 10 minutes to do your cool down. On your cool down today, guys, you can use your picture, put everything down. Stop playing with your calculators, just why we don't have calculators, to be honest. It's not a phone. You can't text nobody. Stop playing with the buttons. Jeez, y'all. You will be able to use your notes if you need to for your cool down today. And you are essentially about to do 9 more examples, and your cool down is very similar to what we just did. So just make sure that you're using this if you're working together and you're confused. Come and ask for help. You have a calculator, even though clearly you proved that this is why calculators are no better than us, right? Are there any questions before you get started? Listen. You may work by yourself if you want to, absolutely.
So for number 7, if there isn't a mode, what do we put?
No mode.
Okay.
Yep. So like if there's no repeating number, then you just put no mode, because there's no mode.
Alright, no.
Yep. All right, yes. Oh, and if you have a data set that has, like 2 18s and 2 16s, you have 2 modes, which would be 18 and 16. Does that make sense? So like if there was 2 more 17s, our mode would not just be 18, it would be 18 and 17, because they appear the most, but the same number of most. Andrew, put your pencil down so I know you're listening. All right, any other questions? All right, go ahead and get started. Probably shouldn't mess with that table because it is broken. I was at work. You're gonna pay me to miss work to come watch you play? I will be there on Thursday of next week. He said it was 8 innings.
You want me to pay attention to dancing in the winter?
That's a question. I mean, talking about like, your what? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. I thought. Oh, get back my chair. You guys need those.